So the unit circle. Let's talk about this. So we have our degrees. We filled them in. 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, 180, 210, 225, 240, 270, 300, 315, 330, and 360. Okay, that's just taking this 30 degrees, a 45 degrees, and a 30 degrees, and then we have our 90, and then again 30 degrees, 45, 60, 90, 30, 45, 60, 90, 30, 45, 60, 90. Okay, and then what we did is we took these degrees and translated them into radians. So in radian form, in green, we're going to have 0, because 0 times 180 over, or pi over 180 is still 0. But pi over 180 times 30 is going to give me pi over 6. And then again, pi over 4, and then pi over 3, pi over 2. And then 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 6, pi, 7 pi over 6, 5 pi over 4, 4 pi over 3, and 3 pi over 2. So all we're doing here is we're just basically adding 1 pi to this. So 1 pi, so plus this is going to be 1/6 pi, is going to give me 1 and 1/6 pi, which is 7 pi over 6. And then we're going to add 1 to this one and get 5 over 4, and get 1 to this one and get 3 plus 1 is 4 over 3. And then 1 to this one, 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. Okay? And then again, 1 to this one. And so 3 plus 2 is 5. And 4 plus 3 is 7. And 6 plus 5 is 11. So we come all the way around, and then obviously pi plus pi is 2 pi. So we get all the way around and get to 2 pi. All right? And then we start to notice these certain triangles. The 45-45 triangle, which when you do the Pythagorean theorem, you have the square root of 2 over the over 2 squared plus the square root of 2 over 2 squared should equal 1. And this squared is 1/2, and this squared is 1/2, so that equals 1. With this one, you have the square root of 3 over 2 squared plus 1/2 squared should equal 1. And you have the square root of 3 over 2 squared is 3 over 4, and this squared is 1 over 4, so when you add that up, you get 1. So we know that these are valid, and all of these signs, these lengths are valid. So now we take this and we kind of twirl it around so that we can see it standing up and we see it laying down. And then what happens there is that we turn off our phone and then we look at these triangles. And so this laying down triangle, this is this one. So we have a 30-degree triangle right here, 30 degrees, and it makes this red triangle. And so now what I'm trying to find is the x and y's, or the coordinates on the circle. Okay? So the coordinate on the circle is, if it's 1 unit out, if we're talking about 1 unit away, right? So if I'm 1 unit out, then the height is going to be the same as this height, 1/2. And then the length is going to be the same as this length, the square root of 3 over 2. Okay? So then we look at the 45-45, and the length and the width are the same. So the height is going to be square root of 2 over 2, and the length is going to be square root of 2 over 2. But when we look at this one, now that takes us back to this triangle, because what's happening is now we've taken this 30, 60 triangle, and we took this one and kind of flipped it around on end. But it's still a 30, 60 triangle, but it's the length now is going to be 1/2. See? And the height now is going to be square root 3/2. So now this gets kind of transversed. So the height and length become the length and height. Okay? So, once you get that in, then you can do the rest of them. I'm going to show you how to do this one by translating this to here, and to here, and finishing it up with the 90s and the 180s. All right, so here we go. We're going to look at this guy, and when we look at this guy, we have the width is 1/2, height is square root 3/2. Well, this is just a reflection of this, right? So, what's going to happen here is this triangle is just this triangle except with a negative length. So if I'm going to have a negative length, then it's going to be negative 1/2. And the height is still square root of 3/2. Okay? But when I look at this one, it's the same triangle, but it's this triangle flipped down. So the length is still going to be, the x value is still going to be negative 1/2. But now instead of it going positive positive square root 3/2, it's going to go negative square root of 3/2. Okay? And then when we look at this angle, this one right here, as we take this to go downward, it's still going to be, the length is still 1/2, but the height is now going down negative square root of 3/2. And it just fills into that whole ideology of negative, negative in the third quadrant, first quadrant positive, positive, second quadrant negative, positive, fourth quadrant positive, negative. Okay? So, now let's talk about the easy ones. Remember, when we're going, oops, this one shouldn't be here. This is actually supposed to be here. Square root of 3/2 and negative 1/2. Because this one is telling us, well, how long is this? So if we talk about a circle, the length or the radius of any circle is going to be the same all the way around, right? And so the length of this triangle is 1. And that's why it's a unit circle. It's a circle made of with a 1 as its base. So what that tells me is that this length right here is x is 1, but y is 0. And here x is 0, but y is 1. And here x is negative 1 and y is 0. And here x is 0, but y is negative 1. So it just kind of translates all the way around. Okay? So and that's the basis of our unit circle. Ta-da!